Welcome back to the podcast. This is Nope. We're trying to get this intro, y'all. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Just Gotta Make It podcast. I'm your host, Della. This is
the co-host, Meyer.
And today we wanted to talk about, we know we talk a lot about vision on here. We talk a lot about believing God, and we did a podcast on faith and what that looks like. And so what's been on both of our hearts is, what do you do in that in-between time? What do you, like the lag time or the gap between the promise, God giving you the vision and the promise, and the fulfillment. Yeah, the fulfillment of that promise, because I feel like that's a very sensitive time, and I feel like that's where a lot of people drop off at. So I want to hop in there and just talk on that and give you guys, hopefully help you guys, I don't know, fill you guys with faith, because we're kind of in that gap too, and it rotates, right? Like sometimes you're in the in between, and then it gets fulfilled. There were things that we were praying for and asking God for that we got, and so now looking back, we're like, yeah, it made perfect sense. But in the middle of it,
it's rough.
It's rough, and it didn't make perfect sense. So, what do you feel like, Meyer, is one of the biggest challenges people face in the gap? Or it don't even have to be people; it can just be you. What do you feel like is one of the biggest challenges?
Feeling like you're not gaining any traction, or you're not getting any results, or getting closer to the goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So you may be waking up every day, setting goals every day, achieving those goals, or not achieving those goals, and feel like I'm wasting time. Like I'm not there's no fruit.
Yeah. Because things are oftentimes they're really invisible until they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really, really, really hard. Yeah. Really, really hard. I think for me, the hardest thing about being in the gap is not necessarily what it looks like to me, but what it looks like to other people.
Yeah.
Because you're better at that than me, not caring about other people's opinions. But I don't want to look like no fool. I don't want nobody to think I'm lazy. It's more like I don't care what I look like as far as making mistakes in the process or things like that. But I don't want nobody to think I'm not pulling my weight. Or I don't want anybody to think, less of my work ethic. Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm working. You just can't see it. You don't understand what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I think that's one of the hardest things for me. What else? It's
kind of like prayer. It's like, people don't see you praying, or may not know that you're praying, but the effects of your prayers can, change people's lives.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and living in the gap is a very spiritual experience. It's a very supernatural experience, and it's like one thing, and this is kind of what we're doing now. Even, I don't know which videos, the other video is going to come out first. So I talk about the challenge that I'm going to do, the Fight for You 90-day challenge. But a big thing that I talk about is almost living in this make-believe world. Mm-hmm. And I'm thankful to have you, because in our make-believe world, at least there's two of us. And my heart goes out for the person that there's one of them, Yeah. But if you look back on every successful person, there was a time frame in which they had to live in a make-believe world. Mm-hmm. I think about, what's his name? The documentary we watched. Is it Kanye?
Yeah, Kanye.
I do not agree. Disclaimer. I do not agree with everything that Kanye is doing and how he's living his life.
Yeah.
But when I was watching that documentary, it was almost like, did he say he has mental health issues? Is that a known thing? Or is that my assessment? I think that's a known thing.
Yeah.
So, So, yes, and this is not a bash Kanye thing. I actually think before things got weird, there was this where he was excellent at living in a make-believe world.
Yeah.
And the thing about living in a make-believe world is that
the world you create, not make-believe, there's purple stars and there's blue trees, but you have a narrative in your mind of how you want to live, or how you
the outcome. Yourself. Yes, but everything is made up. And I think when I heard that, fear is made up and faith is made up. Positive outcomes are made up just as much as negative outcomes are made up. So if I say I'm about to open this business and this year I'm going to do 6 figures, okay, cool. That's made up. Just if I say I'm about to open this business and this year everything's going to fail and crash and burn.
Yeah.
Neither
one of those are present.
Yes. But, so I get to choose what I want to do in my make-believe world. I think too, another hard part, which is kind of like the other ones we said, when you're in that in between the promise that God gave you and the fulfillment of that promise, there's sometimes, I feel like there's this pressure of, you can build, but even while you're building, you must keep up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. And you cannot do both. You cannot do both. I'm telling you, like, even in our coaching program, they were like interviewing these celebrities, and I just thought it was so cool. Like, their stories, all of them had these stories where I had $5 and I had to use my last $5 to do this, or I had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is all I had, so I did with what I had. And I just think the pressure now of just, I'm gonna keep up with the Joneses while I build. Yeah. It's a very unrealistic pressure.
Or building looks glamorous. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just even thinking about building a home, it's like, you got a foundation. It's just concrete or it's just pillars. Yeah. Like, it's nothing, like, beautiful about that. Yeah. Then even when you get to the foundation being done, then you have the rough plumbing before the foundation. Yeah. It just pipes. You know, it just, nothing looks finished until it's
done. Finished. And even when it's finished, okay, so I think about our house, we would have people come over and some people would be like, oh my gosh, you guys need pavement, you guys need landscaping, you guys like minor stuff. And because we were in the thick of building, we were like, are you kidding me? Wait, like, do you realize?
No, you looking at the small speck.
Yes, and I think because we were in the thick of the building, we recognized what it took to dig each pillar in the ground. Remember picking up those big old heavy? Even before that, so knocking down the trees.
Knock down the trees, burn the trees, cut the trees. Like, it wasn't.
And even now, being in the home, stuff still ain't done. Baseboards ain't done, stuff like that. But even now, and even the property, I look at the property, I'm in a make-believe world. I stay there. I can see where we're headed. Yeah. We talk about where we're headed. So we kind of know, okay, this is where we're headed. This is what it looks like. But other people cannot see that. Yeah. And so there's almost this protection that we have to put around our mind. There's this protection that because here's the deal. The vision that we have for this property is so multi-generational that we may not see the fulfillment of it until our kids have kids. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because we're not just thinking about us. If we were just thinking about us, we would have skipped the step of this home and built a home that, our dream home or whatever. Yeah. Like, we would have did that. And so it's hard when you're thinking vision, and the people around you are so low scope. Yeah. And so not on purpose.
They're now focused.
They're so now focused.
Today focused. Yeah.
Today focused that you're like, are you kidding me? And they can easily discourage you and pull you back to that place. They can easily make you feel less than and pull you back to that place because they don't see the whole vision. Yeah. Like, even us living in this home, I can't tell you how many people are like, well, why'd you build it so small? Or why didn't you build a bigger this or a bigger that? Yeah. And I'm just like, I have to always go back to the vision. The vision of this home was to get us, we knew we wanted to have a family, and we knew legally it is our responsibility to house this family. Mm-hmm. And so that was the idea of this home, and it gives us the capacity to build the rest of the vision, our businesses and things like that. And I don't have time to break that down to someone who is asking me why my closet is not bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, if you break it down, you realize, okay, I'm wasting my time.
Yes, they don't want to hear it.
You don't want to hear about, like, establishing generational wealth, setting yourself up for generational wealth, or setting yourself up so you ain't gotta live paycheck to paycheck.
And just thinking about, you cannot make the leap from poverty to middle class, or the leap from middle class to wealth without by wealth I mean you don't have to work for your money, your assets make money. You cannot make those leaps without drastic sacrifices and drastic changes. I don't care what nobody says,
especially nowadays.
Maybe back then maybe it was easier. I know they say now it's easier more than ever to become a millionaire. We'll let y'all know. But I still think, you gotta sacrifice. It's expensive just to live. Yeah. So to have surplus to play with and to invest is very different. When we start talking about money and generational wealth, we get a little excited when we go off on a tangent. But for somebody that is living in the gap, what are some practical like tips, things that you would tell them, like, hey, this is how you wait with grace. This is how you know what I mean? Not die of an anxiety attack. Like, what would you tell them?
A couple things. Celebrate the little victories.
That's good.
So, say, I don't know, you trying to lose weight. So you don't like, okay, I'm going to celebrate whenever I get to that goal weight. Let's celebrate after 5 or after 10 or after, okay, now I can see my abs. So, what? I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't know. Depending.
I haven't seen my abs in a long time. Okay. So I can't.
It depends on the person. But celebrate the little goals, the little victories.
I feel like I'm pretty bad at that. Like, I'm pretty terrible because I think I'm getting... Okay, I think that's similar to like a football player making a touchdown and dancing in the end zone. And the game is still going.
Oh, they losing?
And like, no, even if they're winning, I think it's incredibly inappropriate to be like say it's first quarter and you make a touchdown. Like, I'm kind of like, act like you've been here before. Yeah, that's kind of my mindset.
A little celebration. So like,
no, you're right. Like, the Bible talks about gratitude because when we come from a place of gratitude, then like pausing and celebrating, because then we open up ourselves to more things. I'm just saying that is one of my struggles.
Yeah, but it just has to be small. It can't be nothing like, okay, I'm good. Like,
yeah, I don't think you ever should get to a place that you're good until you're in the casket.
Yeah, yeah. Another one, put blinders on. So, eliminate any distraction. So that can be social media, that can be friends and family, that can be entertainment, it can be anything. But put the blinders on, and literally your main focus should be that goal.
Okay, so you said that, not like it's easy, but you said a mouthful. Like, I think the thing is, okay, so the Fight For Me challenge, you can still sign up for it. One of the things that I talk about is I'm blocking stuff out. Like, I literally woke up and God was like, I just felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me that there was a level here that the Lord was ready to release, but I have to position myself for it and get alignment with it. And that was going to take like beating my flesh, right? Yes. And part of what I'm doing is I deleted all the social media apps on my phone. But even real life friends and family, I'm limiting my exposure to, because it is nothing against anybody, and we're not anti-friends, and we're not any of that. But when you're trying to intentionally go to the next level, I think it's like guarding your heart on steroids and guarding your mind on steroids, because they might not even say anything negative. It could just be the way they look at you, and you like.
And it could not even be negative, but
they just care about you.
Yeah, they just want to like kick you. Like, I enjoy spending time with you.
Oh, okay,
that's cool. But I know, like, okay, I gotta devote X amount of time to my craft. Yes. And if I don't, then I know I'm not moving the needle forward. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So
and when you're in the in-between, people don't respect that as much, okay? Because if take this channel, for instance. If we had 100,000 followers or making, people would say like, oh, okay, I get, you got to shoot your podcast. Go do that. But right now when we tell people, no, we can't do it because we have to shoot a podcast, they're like, that's cute, your little hobby, right? Yeah, for sure. And that's with anything. And so what I begin to do is change my language. So when I'm working on stuff with the business and people are like, hey, can you hang out? I say, no, like I have to work. And I am working. But people don't understand like, oh, hey, no, I have to write this, or I have a sales call. They don't understand that. So I'm going to just say, oh, I'm working. I have to go to work. Yeah, I have to go to work. I have to go to work. They don't understand me that I go to coffee shops and sit for hours and work. They can't even wrap their mind around it. So I've had to change the language in the in-between because I feel like that's helpful. I keep jumping in. I hope you remember what else you were going to say. Like things that are helpful in the in-between. That's what we're talking about. I
said blinders.
You said put your blinders on. I think surround yourself with other crazy people too that are like, because we talked about like truly isolating yourself from any negativity. And it's not that you're not trying to it's not that you're trying to be irresponsible. You do want to take calculated risks, but I'm so sensitive in this season to who I'm around. So, like never before. Like I'm almost belligerent with the thing. And I've never been that way. That's how I know God is doing a new thing. But yeah, I think what's been powerful too is just getting on my calls and being able to talk to other people that I'm like, okay, like I'm not crazy.
They're on what I'm on.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, I'm not losing my mind. And that is so encouraging. And I want to say too, like I know we talked about the challenge of feeling like you have to keep up with the Joneses in the middle. I would say almost to anybody who God gave you a vision and that vision is related to your finances, go ahead and just know, like, you finna live below your means.
Yes.
Just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. And it's I guess it's hard nowadays, but just do it. Whether that's go back to school, but like live below your means. Go ahead.
I thought, so Jesus was God. King of all kings.
Yeah.
Yo, he went from being able to do literally whatever you want, or capability to okay, if I need food, boom, I can create my own food. I can create my home. He went from that to being a nomad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You went from glory to being a nomad.
To go to higher glory.
Yes, to go to higher glory.
Yes, that's so
to have
good.
A bigger influence.
Like glory to
what?
glory.
Come on,
and yes, but we think that we can skip that step, and that is not okay. And that leaves people so frustrated. So frustrated. I think also when you're living in the in-between, act as though you aren't living in the in-between. Act as though you are at the end.
Yeah.
Not in a stunning way. Like, so don't act like you have the money. Act like you have the possession of what it is that comes with gaining the money. Do you get what I'm saying? If God showed you you're going to be a millionaire, don't go buy cars to look like a millionaire. Start businesses, work businesses like a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Become the person that a millionaire is.
Ideally, because millionaires, they're different. Ideally. Yeah, some of them, whatever. But yeah, like for instance, I had to build this website for my company, and it was so annoying. And I had to build a website before I got out and had the sales calls, right? But if my belief was super low, then I wouldn't have been able to ever build a website. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do whatever it takes to lift your belief levels. Do what, like, when I tell y'all I'm brainwashing myself in this season, I am brainwashing myself in this season.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
And whatever I need to read, whatever I need to listen to, whatever I need to do to quiet my environment so the Holy Spirit can take part of that brainwashing, because it's not like I'm just like, self-help. No. Holy Spirit, I want to think how you want to think. I want to believe the things that you're showing me, because the Holy Spirit, for us at least, we're believers, the Holy Spirit gives us our visions. And so if the Holy Spirit gives me my vision, then I need the Holy Spirit to fulfill that thing.
Yeah.
In the midst of the pain, in the midst of all these things. And I feel like if you are not hurting in some type of way in the in-between, I just don't know that I don't know that. You get what I'm saying?
Like I'm itself, and
I don't know that you're on your way to the vision.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel good during the whole process, you don't ever feel afraid. You don't ever feel like you're risking something. You are not on your way to fulfilling the vision. Yeah. And I know that because I birthed a baby. Like, I know that sounds so dramatic, but when I think about birthing a vision into the earth, right? I think about the labor. You cannot have a baby without labor pains. Yes, you can get epidural. That's not what I'm talking about. But you cannot birth a baby without
masking the pain.
Yes.
But even when you mask that pain, then
which there's nothing wrong with the epidural.
Yeah. But some people it's more difficult for them to birth the baby because they can't. They're like desensitized.
That's good. So it takes longer. It's like when you try to band-aid it. Yeah, when you try to band-aid it, when you try to, whatever you got to do. Like, so for instance,
soften the blow.
Yeah, like, so take money, for instance. If I'm supposed to be investing this amount of money into my business, I'm supposed to, not work for this amount of time to build the business, but you can't stand that pain. So you go and you don't invest as much, or you do, you work too much over here, so you can't work over here in the thing that God built you. Instead of it happening in 5 years and you getting to reap the rewards for 10 years, it takes 15 years to build it, and you get 3 or whatever to reap the reward. And so I think about that, and I think about the fact that right before I had the baby, there were I literally was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot. That was the heaviest that was not the heaviest, the strongest pains that I felt like during the whole process. And it's funny, like when he actually started coming out, I was good. Like I was on this high, but because it was the pains before. So when you go through your go through, and then that thing starts to give birth, that's when everybody's like, "Oh, girl, we knew it was gonna work." Yeah,
you coming up?
We always saw greatness in you.
Yeah.
Like you said though, celebrating the small wins.
Yeah.
I think honoring like which level you're on is so important. Like when you guys comment on my videos, I don't take that lightly. If I say I'm gonna pray for you, I'm actually praying for you. My ear here is when I run into somebody at the store and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know, that I met on YouTube, or like I'm forever grateful for just this space that we're in, the level that we're on now. There's some days where I wake and this isn't every day. I don't want you to think I'm just this grateful little lollipop or whatever walking around. But a lot of days I wake up and I go in my kitchen before the craziness happens, and I'm literally like, I'm so thankful for this house. I am so thankful for this house. Like, will this be our forever home? No. But man, when I'm wiping the countertops down, I'm like, yo, like we built this, and like we have this available in this crazy market. We have enough space for all of our children. Do they have to share rooms? Yes. Are they gonna live? Absolutely. They're going to be all right. Okay, I want to say another antidote that I feel like, I don't know, it's taboo to say, but you got to work hard. I think that's the thing is, if you're working hard, you put your head down, I think you'll look up and the in-between will feel shorter than, you know what I mean? Like the time, time flies when you're having fun. Like, that's what my physics teacher used to say. But it truly does. Like if you can, and that's why you have to be addicted to the process.
Yeah, obsessed with it.
You got it. Yeah, literally like Kobe. But that looks different for different people. So there's a difference between me saying, I want to run a marathon, and I dream all day about the race. I dream all day about, the time that I'm going to hit when I run the marathon or the half marathon or whatever, versus me falling in love with, oh my gosh, when I wake up in the morning to run, it's such a peaceful time. Like, oh my gosh, when I can't wait to buy my running shoes. I can't wait to run with my friend. I can't wait to see all the different routes that I run, and versus just thinking about the finished product,
the process. You gotta become obsessed and love, or at least appreciate the process. And I think if you don't want the vision bad enough. No. You don't want the promise bad enough. You just don't. Like, and I'm not saying, okay, so like I'm losing the baby weight from the last baby. I'm not saying I like not eating cake. But I'm saying I do like how I feel at the end of the day when I kept the promise to myself that I said I would do. I do like knowing that when I'm walking or working out that I'm keeping the commitment to my health. I like that feeling. I like the feeling of knowing that I work out 6 times a week. I drink water. I like that. I've become obsessed with that. I do it every single day. And that builds confidence because
it does.
You're not letting yourself down.
Yeah.
So it's that self-belief is rising, and more self-belief. Yep. You believe you can achieve more goals. It just it's like a building block.
It is. And that's kind of like with that self-confidence that we talked about last week, but you got to work hard, y'all. Like think about how hard you think you have to work, and then work harder. And I know that for some reason that's taboo. People are like the soft life stuff, The thing, don't get me on the soft life again. I've already talked about that. And I get that the idea is that you're not bending over backwards working for the man or whatever. And I agree. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. But before the soft life comes the work life. Like, you got to do what you got to do to bring to fruition the promise and the vision that God gave you. And that takes work, period. I remember we were building the house and some people were like, y'all are working way too hard.
Yeah, do you have a house? You do? Alright.
Right, you ain't living in an RV like we are.
You live in an RV?
Yeah. So, like, what? They're like, yeah, you just need to relax. They've never built a house before. They've never, you know what I'm saying? They've never, like, they don't have generational wealth. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, please help me understand. And again, they weren't being malicious, but all those little voices can really get in your head. And if we would have listened to them, shoot, we probably still wouldn't be in the house. You know, like, what? Every season ain't about taking it easy. Sabbath.
Oh wow, and we started building a house at the perfect time. So if you wait too long, you literally can miss the window
of opportunity.
Then you have to wait more time, or that opportunity won't come around again.
Yeah, or there's not that ease. Because I talked about that even in my soft life video. It's not. I'm not going after a soft life. I'm going after a life of ease that comes with being in alignment with what God is asking me to do and doing it when He's asking me to do it. And so, yeah, us being in step with the Holy Spirit is what gave us that, because you were off work, all these things lined up. And I think it's the same thing too. Even when it comes to a different vision, it's like, okay, if I can be in step with God, somebody is waiting for me to make this sales call. Somebody is waiting for the curriculum that I'm putting out. Somebody is waiting for me to show up. Someone that looks just like me doing exactly what I'm doing. Somebody is waiting for that. And so I have to work hard. And if you don't know what work hard means, listen. We learned this last week about the non-negotiables. And they were pretty much saying, like, the reason why so many people are struggling is because everything in your life is negotiable. Like, you negotiate your way out of everything. Like, you say, oh, I'm going to work out every day. And then Sally calls and she's like, hey, do you want to go get sushi? You're like, yeah, I want to get sushi. What time? 7? Oh, my training's at 7, but I'll move it today. Everything.
Yeah, you're successful at being unsuccessful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like,
you're great at it. Like, you say it's because you're a good time. You say it's because you're not taking life too seriously. You say it's because life is short. Let me tell you something. Life is short, so you should stick to what you said you were going to do. Like, tomorrow is not promised. You know what I'm saying? I just think about the fact that the people that me walking in alignment with God is going to bless. Like, I think about my parents. Like, for the longest I was like, when my parents retire, I'm going to help them travel the world. And like, one day God was like, girl, your parents are retired. It is happening right now. And you are still over here not taking the risk that I told you to take, not doing the work that I told you to put in. And they are already retired. And I'm like, wow, what a gut check. You know what I mean? Like, wow, okay, let's get busy, And so if you don't know what hard work looks like, I just really think people don't know what it looks like. Okay, so for instance, 75 hard. You have to work out twice a day, every day, right? For 45 minutes each. And so when I was doing it, it was like, day 50 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, but what do you do when you're tired? You work out every day, twice a day for 45 minutes, no excuses. And that's what hard work looks like. Like, we couldn't, there wasn't, and you can take it easier. You can take a break. You can Sabbath. But even with the Sabbath, people like to say, well, the Lord is a God of rest. Well, okay. Yep. Look at His ratio.
6-1. 6-1.
And you Sabbath most of your days, and then come Sunday, you're like, oh, it's a Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like, what? Or Saturday. I'm not getting into that debate. But, work hard. And if you're confused about what working hard looks like, it looks like showing up day in, day out, even when you don't feel like it. Working hard doesn't mean you're going to put out your best work every time you put your finger to it. No, it doesn't. But it looks like, this is the way I look at it. I want to be a professional athlete in anything that I do. So I want to work up that level. So like Kobe shooting all these free throws. What does it look like for you to shoot free throws in the gap of the vision? So God gave you the promise. What does it look like for you to shoot free throws every day? You know what I mean? What does it look like for you to hit the gym and train? Even I'm not talking about like physically working out unless that is the goal. But what does it look like? Career? What is that for your vision? What is that for your gap? That's what you're supposed to be doing during your gap period. That's what keeps the faith. And for me, like that's what keeps me encouraged. The showing, because the more I show up and show out, or show up and continue to show up for myself, I can't surrender. Like, the deeper I'm into this thing, I'm like, well, I can't surrender now. Yeah. But if I'm dabbling, then I might as well surrender. When we got the studs up in this house, there was no turning back.
Yeah, we was like, oh yeah. And when it started looking like a house.
Yeah. We were like, there's no turning back. We got too much money. We got too much skin in the game. So there's no turning back.
And I want to be in the house before school starts.
Period. I'm getting out of this RV. And that's another thing too. So many people, where you are right now is too comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's too comfortable for you versus where you're headed, right? Like
where you desire.
Where you desire to be. Yeah. Like you're too comfortable. Like that's when they talk about the whole burn the ship type of mentality. You're way too comfortable. As I remember that RV, I literally wanted to burn the RV. And so even now, like the visions that God has given me, I'm like, well, Holy Spirit, you're gonna have to make me uncomfortable where I am so that I want to push forward, you know, towards the mark. And that's what he did when he woke me up out of my sleep and was like, you know, I'm finna do a new thing. Like I'm finna shake things up. And I'm tired. I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to show up. But I don't want to continue to stay where I am. Yeah, you know,
being stagnant is not cool.
Yeah, but yeah, guys, if you have not watched my video about the Fight for You challenge, this guy had to push me to do it, but I'm gonna do it. Like I said, if I have to do it by myself. But we just really talked about it. It's something I've been wanting to do really for years. I've been talking about doing it, but getting a group of women together just to go deeper. Like if when I said work hard and you were like clenching or you don't even know what that looks like or you're honest, you do not stick to things that you say you want to do. If I don't do anything, I stick to what I say I'm going to do. At least I try to. And I feel like I'm fairly disciplined, but I feel like God is taking me to a new level and I want to take you with me. And so it is every week. And that's intense. You don't have to show up every week, but I'm available every week. It's not just one of those, join my coaching program. It's not even that. You join in a Zoom call. Like we're going to be talking to each other. I'm going to get your goals at the beginning. I'm going to ask where you are. And 90 days, I feel like you can change your life. And I feel like people really underestimate that. Like a goal that you've been having for years, you can knock it out in 90 days. And I know it because I've done it. And so that's what we're doing. I'm doing it personally for me because I know that where I'm going to be in 90 days is going to be completely different. So anyways, you just hit the channel membership thing, and then there will be a video on there that tells you more about that, or you can look at the video I did before this. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.